Hey there, Shank, everybody. Welcome back for another amazing video. Today, we're going to be talking about what investments you should be doing in a period of inflation to protect yourself or hedge yourself from the inflation. Now, without any further ado, let's get this video started. Now, the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is gold. And gold is known to be the biggest hedge from eras and eras and eras against inflation. It's known to be the hedge against inflation. And there's many reasons why. From centuries and centuries, it has been known and it's been respected and accepted as a storage of value. Well, let's just say we have three assets, okay? Gold, some commodity, let's say apples, let's say real estate. Let's say there's hyperinflation. Apple starts shooting up. We went from $1 to $6 a piece. Houses go from $1,000 to $60,000 a piece. Gold has shown to, protect your wealth in the sense that if these two are going high, then this is going to also go even higher. That when, if you want to ever afford it, you can sell it and you can afford it. While, for example, while Apple was $1 and the house was $1,000, gold was maybe, $10 per gram. Let's say if Apple shot to 6 and this shot to 60, this thing will shoot higher up also. Gold will also shoot up higher to protect yourself against these funds going up. But if you had currency, on the other hand, if you had fiat is still $1. It's still staying at that $1 that was $1. A $6 apple, oh, now you can't afford an apple anymore. All this stuff. Now, a very prime example of this is the times of World War and Germany. Because of the treaties, Germany's currency had literally fallen to the floor. People used to take barrels and buckets and bags of cash to buy just bread. But at that time, gold held its value because of the inflation. Gold was not affected by it. You could literally walk and use a small bar of gold to buy an entire house. That is called hedging against inflation. This is also one of the reasons why back in the day, all the countries used to fight for gold and then fight to have a higher reserve of gold, because gold was the hedge against inflation. Rather, it also made a gain. It helps you make a very very stable and very riskless per se gain. So that's one of them. Another investment to do to hedge against inflation is stocks. Now you'll be like, Ahmed, how would that work? Well, the reality is stocks on average have gone up by 11 to 13% a year, whereas inflation has only gone up by, let's say, this year was probably one of the highest, was 9% on average. So you're still overpowering or still making more than the inflation amount. Now, obviously, this is average over a year. We're looking, this year's stock market didn't do too well, and it's not always the case that the stock market doesn't do well while there's inflation. So you have to kind of do that calculation. Okay, do I get into stocks and kind of try to overturn that 9% or that whatever percent of inflation is by the gains from the stocks? You have to do that calculation for yourself. But still, let's say there's inflation and there's a crash in the market. Well, now you have a place to put your money. Rather, because there's inflation, now your power of spending has gone down in the commodity world, in the daily expenditure world, but your power of buying has gone higher in the stock market world, because you can buy something that's cheaper now, right? So look into these things, because this is an opportunity. So similarly, when inflation goes higher, the federal government starts putting increases in interest rates so they can control inflation. What happens then is that crashes the real estate market. And so to hedge against the inflation that has happened, what a lot of people do is they take their money and they start putting it into real estate, because they're like, okay, well, interest rates are going to go, start putting into real estate because interest rates are right now high. So the real estate market is down. But as soon as inflation gets to normal, interest rates are going to come down and the real estate market's going to go up. And this is right now is a prime time to do something like this. I know a lot of people who are investing into stuff like REIT. REITs, if you can't afford to buy a full house, you can look into REITs. REITs are pretty much a investment trust, where you can buy it's like buying a portion of real estate property, not buying in the sense like, you're buying that property, but it's in a sense doing that. The next thing you can do is start looking into buying bulk or buying commodities, in a sense that due to inflation, the commodities prices are going to keep going increasing. So what you can do is you can buy these commodities and start storing them, and you will end up saving quite a bit of money. And B, you can also potentially look into buying the commodities in the trading market. So for example, there's all commodities, when I mean is like, your daily groceries, corn, sugar, fruits, whatever. That's one for sure to help you save money. But two is that you can start looking into investing into the commodities market, like where you buy, barrels and whatever it is in the commodities market for different vegetables like corn, soybean, and stuff like this, and also the oil market, right? You can start looking into things like the price of barrel for oil. When inflation happens, the price of oil also goes up. So you can pretty much buy in advance, buy a bunch of barrel commodities, reap the prices of it going up, and then selling it at top. Not a practice I would tell you guys to do, but a lot of people use this opportunity to margin and then trade, which is non-sharia compliant. So be careful. Not telling you to do it, I'm just giving you information and knowledge, right? That's important. The next thing is cryptocurrency. Now, like stock market, same answer goes for cryptocurrency. When there's inflation in the economy, and to hedge against this inflation, people move their money into crypto. This is a newer practice, so there's a lot of learning still happening in it. But majority of the people go into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is known as the gold of the blockchain world. So now there's some pros and cons that we can talk about investing or trading in the times of inflation. So here's the pros. You preserve your portfolio. You try your best to keep the value of whatever your assets are the same, at least, if not higher, if not better. Because the thing is, in the times of inflation, your portfolio's value is going to go down. It's the purchasing power or the value power that your portfolio has. Inflation times, the value power goes down. You get a chance to diversify your holdings. You start looking into other platforms, different things, different forms of assets, and that's a way to hedge against inflation, just in general hedge against your risk. And it helps you maintain your buying power, your wealth, and the quality of life that comes with it. A lot of people don't understand this, is that in the times of inflation or in times of a crash, there's a change of value. So there's exchange of value. There's a change of hands of value. And this is why they say crashes are the greatest times to make the most money. Cons, we also have to talk about this. There's an increased exposure to risk, obviously, because you're trying to hedge, but at the same time, because you're going to different investment style, you are also opening yourself up to different types of risks and more risks. Another risk is that you might end up overpowering your portfolio into a single asset, or a specific asset where you believe this is the best way to hedge. For example, a lot of people go into gold, all of their money into gold, and this is not a good practice. Rather, the best practice in these types of situations is that you start looking into different industries, just in case if due to the inflation one industry crashes, you have protected your wealth from through the other industries. Remember, money is always going to exist, right? And it's always going to flow. So you want to make sure you are flowing in the same direction that money is flowing, so you can make money from it. So you can make value from it. You can make power from it. So you can make value from it. You can have the power of purchasing from it. Hope you guys like this video. Let me know what you guys think. As always, like, share, subscribe. Take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum. Subscribe, like, share, hit that bell icon for notifications. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram for more content. I'll be uploading more stuff in all of these social media websites. Thanks. Take care. Salam.